Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to wrap cable. Cable wrapping is one of the most important things in the industry. You definitely want to know how to do this. This is like the entry level test to make sure that you're able to work on set. This is very, very important. If you do not know how to do this, most time people won't hire you. By you wrapping cables like this will definitely help out with the longevity of the cable, and it will last a lot longer, and it will not break. So what we're going to be doing is what's called a union roll, right? Union wrap of the cable. So what we're going to do is going to be over and under. So you guys can see, here's the cable. I'm going to go over my hand. See? Over. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go underneath it and give it a thumbs up. So you can see it makes an 8. You can kind of see it like right there. It's making like a figure 8 if you look at it. We do not want to do over and over, because what will happen is you will pinch your cable. We don't want that. So I'm just going to go over and then under. Over and then under. You can see that. And I will repeat this all the way until I get to the end of my cable. By doing this, you are saving the cable, you are wrapping it correctly, and you also are telling your crew that you know what you're doing, and that's the most important thing. There are some places they will do your job interview, and they'll interview you and check out your resume, and they'll give you a cable and make sure you know how to wrap a cable. If you do not know how to wrap your cable, they would not hire you. They will just say, thank you for coming, and we'll call you, don't call us. And you want to make sure that your cable looks nice and clean, just like that, like a nice little circle. All right? The main thing of it being over and under like that is when I were to let this cable go, there should be no knots. So if I keep on going with my cable all the way to the other end, you can see there are no knots. All right? I showed you how to wrap it over and under this way, like so. There's also another way that you just keep on going and do not let go of the cable. You can see I'm going over, and the other part, I'm bringing my hand underneath it, and I'm not letting go of the cable. This will help you out wrap the cables really fast. You can see that. Boom, 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 and so on and so forth. Again, once you're done, you see it's nice and clean. You always want to make your cables like a nice dish size. It's not crazy, like one loop. You also don't want to make sure that your loops are uneven. So you don't want to make like one loop like this, and then next loop like this, and next loop like this, next loop. Like, you don't want it to look crazy like this. This does not look clean. You want to make sure all your loops are nice and clean. Hopefully I didn't make a knot there. Look at that. Boom. All right. So having it nice, like a dish size, and of course, it all depends on the size of the cable. This is a nice 25-foot cable. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it and make sure it's a nice dish size. If you wrap it too small, all you just have to do is just give yourself a little bit of slack to make sure it's even all the way through, just like so. It's very, very important that we go through this with you. A lot of people are afraid to do this, but once you get this done, you will be able to work, I promise. A lot of people love people who know how to wrap cables. Bam, bam, and bam. So I taught you how to wrap a nice small cable like this, but imagine this cable was very thick and say over 100 feet long, or crazy amount of length. And you can't carry all that cable. What you can do is you can actually wrap this on the ground. I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate that here. So imagine this is a very long cable, and it's probably like 5 times the size of this, right, of thickness. Well, just do it on the ground. You're going to go over, right, and then you're going to go under, like so. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go under, right? So I'm doing this as if all my cables are right here, and they're making a nice figure 8. So just imagine pulling very long and thick cable. Leaving it on the ground, it won't strain your arm, right? You're not holding all this cable and trying to wrap it. You have it all right here. And then when you are done, you're going to go ahead and tie it. Always tie it like you're going to tie your shoes. So if I were to hand this to somebody, they're able to take this and put it away, and it does not break. So this is how you wrap your cables properly. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make sure that our cables are nice and taped down onto the ground like a professional settings. So whenever you are running cables around there, people are able to see it or people who are able to walk over it, you always want to make sure that your cables are tacked down and nice and neat. With corporate, all your cables need to be straight and 90-degree angles. You always want to make sure it looks very uniform and professional that way. I'm going to tape these two cables. I have an XLR and an SDI, and I'm just going to go right across the, right in front of me right here, just to kind of show you a certain way to do it. You're going to want to definitely use a gaff tape. This is your best friend, and this guy right here will definitely help out with keeping everything nice and neat. They come in different colors. We prefer to use black because it hides away, because there should be no light where the cable is at. So what I'm going to do is say if I'm going to connect this XLR to here, and I'm going to walk it to here, right? So this is the length that I'm going to use, right? And then I am also going to run the SDI in that same direction. Might not be as long, but we'll use the length of the SDI. So I'm going to go from there to here, right? So I have audio and video going from point A to point B, right? You would think, all right, that's good enough right there. No, it's not, because I could walk by and I could trip over it, because knowing me, I would definitely do that. And you can see the cables are kind of not together. So the first thing I want to do is what is called tacking, and it's pretty much leaving like an anchor point. So if I know that I have this line right here of this, what's it called, this carpet, I might use that to kind of guide me, right? So I'm going to go ahead and get my best friend, Mr. Gaff Tape here. Going to tack it down like so. So I have one right here. I'm going to go to my other end and tack that as well. Kind of line it up. There it is. Boom. So this is a quick and fast way of tacking down the cable, right? This could be okay if we're in a rush and we need it to make it nice and clean. But it's not as safe as we want it to be. So the next thing I want to do is I want to tape over it. So we're going to get our buddy again, Mr. Gaff Tape. I'm going to step on him right here and kind of walk. And now what I'm doing is just making everything secure, nice and clean onto the carpet. As you can see, now our cables is nice and straight and secure. So if I were to walk over it, I would not trip and grab the cable with me. This is very professional out there in the industry. We definitely use this a lot in weddings, corporate events, or anytime there's children around. We don't want them to trip and fall, right? Now, when it's time for the show to end and we're ready to break down, make sure that you step on the cable and do not just pull the cable with the gaff tape. You always want to make sure that your cable stays on the ground, because we do not want the gaff tape to wrap around our cable. So I am walking along to make sure that our cable stays on the ground. Then I come right over here, take my anchor points. Once they're done, now this cable is ready to wrap up. And if you know how to wrap your cables, you know how to break it down. So that's how you gaff tape your cables when you're at an event.